Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so let's touch on some stuff. I am really quite happy. I just am. So Rhino Bucks we'll get to. I mean, it is where it is. I sent the money over. I'll put money in it. I'm not worried about Rhino Bucks. And I say that because I want to say out loud that my concern right now is not Rhino Bucks. Because I know where it's going. If we hit our goals and we schedule our 2024 and we build our affiliates program and we grow, Rhino Bucks just happens. It's like my father when I was younger. He goes, don't ever worry about money. Worry about doing a good job. The money just comes. And he said a lot of things in his life. Maybe one or two of them were good advice, but that was certainly one of them. So now as of Rhino Friend, so I did say that we have the sequences done yesterday. In fact, I think I've said it over the last 3 days. But each day we've been doing stuff for it. And that's not to say, oh, well, sequences are not important. But as we're trying to get to the sequences, we keep finding things that need to be done. So a couple of days ago, we completed the sites, then we completed the copy, then we improved the copy, then we completed the videos, then we improved the videos, and on and on and on it goes. But yesterday, I did finalize the sites. The sites are exactly as I would like them. And we also completed the welcome email for every one of those offerings. And those welcome emails, when someone says they finished a welcome email, it's kind of just like, okay, what did it take you, like 10 minutes? Our welcome emails and all of those things, they take hours. Because what we're doing is we're organizing and bringing in all of the content we have for that particular thing. So let's say it's Rhino Friend or Rhino Business or something. But in that organization, we're also pulling all of the other platforms we have because it's like a suite, Rhino Friend and Rhino Business and Rhino, they all go together. So to effectively ever welcome somebody into one of them, you do need to offer a certain level of foundational knowledge of what they're being welcomed into. If I'm inviting you to the Bulls on the basketball team, I should probably let you know who Michael Jordan is, right? Like, oh, welcome to the Bulls. Make sure you say hi to Michael. Because if you get welcome to the Bulls and you don't know who Michael Jordan is, you're going to kind of feel a little silly. Like, you guys didn't think to tell me this. It's Michael and Jordan, right? So with that in mind, we want to make sure that we pulled everything in. But you go to the tailor and you want to buy a suit. Okay, you go and you buy a suit. He doesn't even offer to sell you shoes. He doesn't even offer to sell you a tie. You think he's thinking about selling a belt? No. He's selling you the most expensive suit. And because he's not adding the shoes and stuff in it, he's able to say, okay, what's your budget? Oh, my budget's like $1,000. Okay, great. Go ahead and get you a suit that's like $970, right? Like under the budget. Look, we got you the best suit in the world and it's right under the budget. Okay, great. Now you agree to get the suit. The suit's in hand. You're going to get the suit. What does he say to you? That suit is sharp. That's the nicest suit I've ever seen. You look great in it. Go ahead, put it on. Do you have a shirt at home for this? Like, you don't want to, you have a new suit. You definitely want to get the best shirt. Why would you get a Ferrari and then put regular gasoline in it, right? Now we got to get you a shirt. Now we got to get you a tie. Now we got to get you a belt. Now we got to get you shoes. The point being, when you go ahead and make that big ticket purchase, you believe in it, you want it. That big ticket purchase doesn't allow you to feel too good if all of a sudden you don't buy all the bells and whistles too. In the marketing of Rhino and in terms of those welcome emails and in terms of sharing with somebody what they're being welcomed into, but also what it leads to, it's very important that if we're selling someone the suit, we need to let them know there's still a tie to be purchased. There's still a belt that needs to be purchased because anybody that gets into anything wants to know, right? Like, I would never buy a car and not think to buy the engine. I would never buy a car and not think to buy the gas. I would never go to college and not think to buy books. But when you're pricing it, you don't price it for books, you don't price it for gas, you price it for the big ticket. And then the other stuff you make work. So there is a rhyme and reason to our emails and how they're built and how everything interlocks with each other. So that took a lot of time. And the sequences are going to be just as much. In Rhino Business, we did want to do a bump up, and we put in a bump for Rhino Suite. Now, what Rhino Suite allows, and again, it's along the same line of thinking I just shared with you, it allows there to be a level of retargeting that's automated within your business account. Because in Rhino Business, you do not own the CRM of people that come to your site. You own the buyers. These are people that are saying they want to buy your product. Therefore, you should have a relationship with them. They're your customers. Somebody that thinks to buy your product and doesn't, like an abandoned cart, or somebody that comes to your page and decides they don't really want to be there any longer, I don't find the ethical argument that you now should own their data. Now, I know it happens everywhere. That's fine. Rhino's inventing something different. Because, for instance, if I come to your store and I want to buy a basketball, and then I'm like, actually, the basketball, like, this is too expensive, or, I really don't need it for a week or two, or my friend just gave me a better price. I don't believe that that allows you to now market to me into oblivion. I don't think you should be allowed to email me every single day. Hey, you forgot to buy the basketball. Hey, you forgot to. No, leave me alone. I didn't buy it for a reason. So that is something that cannot be solved by the business owner on Rhino Business. Also, for those that remember Rhino Traffic, which is something we put out a very, very long time ago, that was a very good idea, but we weren't able to execute it in scale. This is the evolution of that, is the ability for Rhino to actually promote. You see, if anyone called me, like say Becky called me or Leon called me or Joe called me and said, hey, listen, this business I'm working on is really, really great. Like, I love it. You would love it too. It's totally ethical. It's going to help people. It's priced really well. Now I just need to kind of gain some awareness. Will you do me a favor? Can we kind of would you interview me once on your live and post it places? Would you kind of introduce me in an email so that everyone could kind of learn who I am? And if they want, they click. If not, no big deal. My answer would be yes. I've done that so many times. In fact, it's kind of funny that people don't ask me anymore. I've always said yes. That's worth something. Twofold, because one, these calls are going to start becoming very structured. I would love, absolutely love, let's say the first 5-10 minutes of every call was kind of State of the Union, and then the second 10 minutes of every call was, and everyone, I want to introduce you to Laura. I've known Laura forever. This is her business. I can tell you that I believe in her. I've known her, blah, 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 blah. And I want to invite her on so that she could share it with you. And if you would like to be a part of it, we'll give you the link to click it, right? That's valuable to me in the sense that I have actual content that I can produce. This is unique content. That's valuable to Laura because now she's getting exposure. It's valuable to Rhino because anyone outside of Rhino sees that and they go, that's amazing. I would like to do that. How do I get to do that? And as Rhino grows, we're going to have a bigger email list. We're going to have a bigger YouTube presence. We have a bigger Twitter presence. And I really need to cite anyone that looks at the numbers now and says, yeah, well, you've been doing it for 2 years and look at the numbers. Doing what? We've been building, right? Like now we're actually marketing. Say we have 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 Rhino friends. Well, is it worth something to that business to go ahead and be able to be exposed to everyone that every Rhino friend is on our email list? We have all of that data, right? Is it worth something to that person? And of course it is. It might not be worth something to that person today because maybe they're still building their business. Maybe they're waiting for Rhino to grow a little bit, but that's a nice way for a business to invest in themselves. So if you put those two things together, how does Rhino solve you being able to retarget those that come to your site while also protecting their data from you? Well, Rhino could do the emails by themselves. I could set up automated emails on your account. Anyone that abandoned cart, this is the email we're going to send to them. This is the button that they can opt out of future emails. Because now they're not being hounded or marketed by the business. They're actually just being touched by the platform. And we would do it maybe once a month, once every 2 months, whatever the case may be. The promotional side, okay, what is that worth when Rhino has 50,000 Rhino friends? For a full day promotion, it's only you. You're on the YouTube, you're on the Twitter, you're on the interview, you're the email. Everything is you for that whole day, no one else. Well, there's only 365 of them available in a year to begin with. So what is that worth? I don't know, probably a lot of money. But if we package these two things as a $50 bump up, do we think it would be logical for someone to accept them? Yeah, of course I do. Duh. And when I say duh, it's because I don't work for Anthony, I work for Rhino. The money that comes into Rhino grows Rhino. The money that comes into Rhino allows the overhead, allows the cost of each product to be low. Remember, bills need to get paid. So if at the end of the month bills are $100, we'll have to find a way to raise $100. Now that $100 could be raised in many ways. It could be, all right, I'm going to charge $100 for the product. But now, is that really looking out for your best interest? Well, maybe, because I'm not really making a profit on it, but what if I could charge you $80 for the product? Well, that's certainly great. You'd be very happy about that. Well, where's the other 20 come from? Well, Rhino has to figure a way to make that other 20. So if there's a very logical way that's a reasonable solution that brings in money, that helps everyone because it keeps the cost of every platform low. And at the same time, it brings in the money that goes right into the Rhino Bucks, which is something everybody owns. So that was one of the big developments from yesterday. Rhino Suite is now an actual product. It's a bump up of Rhino Business. And we're going to have to do the emails for that. So we're going to have to put a scheduler, a calendar. So there's things I need to do for that as well today. That program is built within the affiliates platform as well. It's a $20 ticket. So as an affiliate, if you refer someone and they sign up for Rhino Business and they opt into the bump up, which again seems like it makes sense, that's $40 for the referral, $20 for the bump up. That's $60 ticket to you, reward, and $5 a week per life for the time that referral is with Rhino Business. And that's not even counting if they get into Rhino Bucks, Rhino Wealth, or anything else. So we're really trying to do it in a way that the affiliate program is something that everyone should be a part of. And when I wrote the email yesterday, I wanted to make it very clear. I think sometimes you just need to redefine stuff. The affiliate program is actually a profit sharing. Like, I feel like I have to say that out loud. We're putting so much money and reward into the affiliate that it's quite clear that any profit Rhino makes is being distributed to all of the members of Rhino that care to be a part of Rhino, which means you're effectively hiring yourself to be an employee of Rhino and share as a partner in the profit of Rhino. And that profit is completely correlated to your work ethic and your success, while Rhino is supporting your endeavors by actually putting all of its time to the affiliate program to build it. That's what we're really doing. And although it might sound altruistic or, Anthony, that's too good to be true, that's not Rhino's goal. Like, I feel like I need to say this out loud too. It's very easy to say, well, Anthony, because you're doing that, you're not going to be a millionaire, but you could. Anthony, because you're doing that, you're not going to be a billionaire, but you could. That's not Rhino's goal. That's not my vision. That's not what I'm looking for. I want everyone to be millionaires. I want everyone to be billionaires. And I want to be the person that did that. I want to be recognized as that person, not because I want to look cool, but because that recognition allows me to continue moving forward place to place to place. And the participants or the audience or the population that I meet already know, wait a second, I know who that person is. I know what he's done. Let me have an open mind to what he's saying, in which case that open mind allows Rhino to affect the world in such a bigger way than dollars and cents, right? That's what Rhino wants, influence to save the world. Again, I know that sounds totally crazy, but for me to have that, everyone needs to make a ton of money beforehand. So that's kind of where our roads cross, and hopefully they stay crossed forever, right? I also spoke to a securities lawyer because I really want Rhino to go public. I want it to be a stock. I don't want it to be crypto. Crypto was fun, cool. I'd rather everyone own a stock. And I want that stock to have daily stock dividends and daily stock buybacks. So I spoke to this securities lawyer, and he's like, Anthony, no one's ever done that. I'm sure there's a bunch of crazy people that would look to just get into it just because. And I said, well, you don't really know much about what my company is, but this would be completely in line with what we do. I go, what's the process of becoming an IPO? He goes, actually, it's quite easy these days. He goes, I have a client. They do everything web-based. I'll give you the contact. I'll put you in contact with that person, because when in contact, they could bring you IPO in a relatively short period of time just from the computer. So there's a couple of fees. You're going to have to get a lawyer, like things like that. But it's not going to be this arduous process, this super expensive process. You're going to be able to do it quite quickly. And they actually have 400 banks that they work with that they'll go ahead and try to raise you money. And I said to them, I wasn't even thinking about raising money. And of course, everyone knows Rhino needs money, right? But I'm not interested in diluting anyone. I'm not interested, I don't want to raise money from that. If it means I give up some of my stock to raise money, fine. But we're not diluting anyone to raise money. The point being, all of these things have just become at our fingertips. And I told him in the next 2 to 3 months, I'd like to revisit this conversation. So that's happening as well. That once the funds are in hand for 2024, we will start putting the IPO process in process. And then when we go city to city to city, it's not just this is Rhino, this is what we're doing, this is Rhino Friend, this is Rhino Business, this is the next 20 years of marketing, blah, 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 blah. It's also sharing the IPO, how the stock works, how it grows. And the cool thing about that is when it comes to Rhino, you might need a certain level of understanding or belief or vision or whatever the case may be to believe in what we're doing. Because it does take a domino approach. Anthony, you're saying if you press this domino, it's going to go this one, this one, this one. And I see your path, but there's no guarantee that any of that's actually, going to happen. So there is a certain level of belief. With the way we're going to structure the stock, where it's going to have daily stock dividend and stock buyback, that's simply math. You could get on a screen and say, okay, if your stock gave you X amounts per day that compounded every single day, how many days before this would equal this? And if you know that, are you ever going to sell it? And then if everyone doesn't sell it, are there more buyers or sellers? Well, if you know there's more buyers and there's less sellers, what happens to the price? So there is a self-fulfilling prophecy of that works, because that's market stuff. You can, and again, this is a bad sentence, so please don't ascribe this to strategy. This is ascribed to theory. Because markets are confidence, as long as you could keep confidence, you could build a market. So for instance, if you went ahead and shared, oh, well, this stock can do this, and it's going to do this buyback and blah, 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 blah. Well, it's going to continue going up until no one's left to believe you. And at that point, it'll just crash. The point being, if you're able to do that while also fulfilling the economics of it, right? Like the Rhino is growing, there is more money coming in, this stuff is actually happening. Well, then that's a perfect scenario. The point of me saying that is you don't actually need all of the money to be coming in for the people to believe it, for the stock to actually start moving. And then when the stock starts moving, people get an interest in it and say, how is that happening? Oh, and they marry it together. The point being, there's more than one way of skinning a cat, and there is a certain level of room that you have to be wrong when pulling something together like that. Now, we don't walk into it thinking we're going to be wrong, but we also don't know what we don't know. So the comfort of knowing that we have a bit of a safety net once we get to that point is really, really very good. And on top of it, if we're going city to city to city, I'm constantly in front of new people. You could tell me, Ant, oh my God, the worst thing happened last week. 50% of Rhino left. Oh my God, all the members left, right? And we don't think that would ever happen, but let's say it did. Okay, let me get back to work. I have a whole new city I'm going to. Let me make up for it. Let me keep going. The point being, if the worst case scenario ever happened, we have an entire year where every day is a new opportunity to turn it all around. And that's assuming the worst case scenario ever actually happens. In lieu of a worst case scenario ever happening, you have an entire year where you're just going to compound yourself. That's what 2024 looks like. We just need to get through this right now. I think I'm going to send an email to everyone with Rhino Bucks. And I'm saying it out loud now, right? Like I want it to be public information. I fully intend to move Rhino Bucks to $3 the second that money hits. And in doing so, I think it'd be smart for people to raise their plans in knowing that. Now, of course, there's no guarantee. I don't know if the money ever hits. Maybe it never does, right? Who knows? But if you have a reasonable certainty that an event is going to happen that's going to markedly raise the price of something, and it's publicly known to everyone, then it would behoove someone to say, okay, well, this is the price I should start buying more at since I'm going to make a high probability profit. And I would like that to be done. So I do think I'm going to send an email to those that own Rhino Bucks today and just kind of share a little bit about that. I think that's everything. I think I covered everything. I see there's some chat. Yeah, and Brian, you're absolutely right. So that's that. Let me get to work. We'll get back to work, right? And I do want to have our first affiliate call tomorrow, but I really think I think we should just do it Monday. I know that sounds like Anthony, you pushed it off again, but I actually think I might need to take Friday to myself to do some stuff, which means I don't want to have an affiliate call Thursday and then already miss Friday. And because I'm doing all the sequences today, I'm not going to be able to spend the time to kind of like have an affiliate tutorial. Like I want to spend a couple of hours just looking at people's affiliate programs, maybe even buying a program or two to see how the experts really teach affiliate from zero to hero. You know, there's many people that have an email list, that's fine. But what about someone that doesn't have an email list? How do they become an affiliate? I don't know the answer to that question. I need to find it, because if I can't find it, then how am I going to teach it? So I think it's important that we do this correctly. Once we have that done, also, I'm going to be reaching out to affiliates. So whether it be TikTok or all these other places, you have the really, really big name people with their emails out looking for potential collaborations. Now, if you remember, we thought of doing that a couple of months back, but we didn't really have a strong structure in terms of like A to B to C to D. That's exactly what we're doing now. We do have that. I can write an email saying, hey, this is what we're offering. This is what it is. This is the value of it. This is how you get paid. This is all you need to do. End of story. In which case, I think it's quite easy for someone to say, okay, let me just give it a shot. Let me see what happens. So I want to have that all ready for Monday so that when I walk in Monday, I can say, okay, affiliate team, we have these people over here. We have these people over here. We have these people over here. These are our steps. This is our assets. This is what we're going to do. Let's go. And we all do it together. I think that works really well. So unfortunately, I think I'm just going to push it to Monday, and I hope that's okay. But then we're good. By Monday, we're good. Everything is done. Now it's just push. That's the goal. That I can confidently say Monday is the day we start pushing. And when we can say that, when our entire day isn't still doing emails and sequences and building websites and all the other nonsense that goes with this, not nonsense, the work that goes into it, when our only job is to just push, well, then these calls actually become a little bit more valuable as well, because these calls are going to be in our emails to everyone that opens our emails. Hey, get on the call, get on the call, get on the call. These calls are going to have slides and videos and offers and polls. These replays are going to be sent out to everyone. This is the machine's going to happen. That starts Monday. Okay, I think I've said my piece. I love y'all. I really, really do. And I will email you later with some updates. I'll see y'all later. Thank you again.